Hi everyone, I'm Carol Keller, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the US. And today I am featuring the Everyday You and Me Scrapbooking Workshop Kit. The kit is meant to create 6 pages, but I actually have used some of the leftovers and scraps and created 10 pages. And I actually still have some die cuts left over, which I'll tell you about at the end. So I hope you like this. The scrapbooking workshop kits, the scrapbooking line is really exciting for me because I started with Stampin' Up! As a scrapbooker and was really disappointed when we discontinued the line. So I'm really excited to have scrapbooking products back and memory keeping. So I hope you like this. Let's get started. Here is the instruction book that comes with the Everyday You and Me scrapbook kit. It shows some extra items that you can use that are optional, and I did have most of them, or all of them actually, to complete this kit. So these are the 6 pages that they show, or that you can make, if you do them the way they show them in the kit. I did mostly follow this for the 6 pages, but I also altered based on the pictures that I had. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you the pages that I did and sort of compare and contrast the differences. So maybe I'll move it over to the side. And then I also, like I said in my intro, I completed 4 extra pages from the scraps. So I'm going to show you those as well. And I'm going to show you one of the techniques that they used to alter some of the die cuts that come with the kit. So let's move this aside. For right now, we'll sort of keep it in view a little bit. If I need to move it out of the way, I will. So this is the first page, and you can see that it's very similar. I have a picture that goes here, but it has people in it, and because this is a public-facing page, I decided not to put the picture in here because I don't have their permission to share it. But that is going to go here. My husband and I took a trip to Dallas and we visited some family, and we also went to the Botanic Gardens there in Fort Worth, and we saw a beautiful butterfly exhibit. So all of the pages involve pieces of that trip. So the picture that goes here, we had a dinner with some family, and so that's the picture that's going to go there. And so I did, and that's why I included the title All of Us Together, because we're here. And I did pick the die cuts that they use here are Happiness and Pure Sweetness, and I switched them to Nothing But Smiles because we're smiling in the picture. Obviously in the Together we have it all, but the elements are the same. These elements are all the same. And then there is one more element that will go up here that I just will wait till I put the picture on, the photograph, and then the bottom is the same. So I altered this, and like I said, I'm going to show you how I did that. I altered this, and I believe I altered the leaves. So that's the first page. Very similar, except really the biggest difference is that the sizes of the pictures here, they're all equal, and here I changed them because, again, it's easy to do that, to adapt to what you have. So that's the first page, and I'll show you too. They show you, the first thing they show you in the brochure is how to cut the papers that come with the kit. And the first time I did one of these kits, I cut everything in advance like they tell you to do. And I found it to be a little confusing because I didn't mark the papers, which really, if you're going to cut them in advance, that's what I would suggest, is marking them in some way on the back or putting a sticky note on them or something like that, a post-it note with which one it is, 1A, 1B, etc. Or you can do it the way I did it, which is I cut all of the papers for the first layout. So anything that had a 1 in front of it, that's what I cut out, this one. And so there were times then I was cutting more of the paper. And if I did cut then something that was used, like you have to cut basically this piece to get to this one. So I put it aside and just knew that, when I looked back at the cutting guide, I knew what it went with. But that's how I did it. I did 1 2-page layout at a time, but you can do it whatever way works best for you. So they show you everything that's cut out. And so again, here is page number 1. And so then it tells you one of the things you're going to do is alter some of the die cuts by adding ink, Pecan Pie ink with a blending brush. And I also used a Q-tip on one, and I'm going to show you both of those techniques when we get to the last couple of pages. But that was page number 1. And then I'll show you the pages in here because they're a little bigger than on the front. So this was page number 2, which is the companion page to that. And you can see I really did follow this one. I started off really following it very closely. So this was in the butterfly garden. You can see some of the butterflies, and I followed. So here, now I put Pure Sweetness here, and a special day. A special day was already there. Together we have it all. I put on the first page, nothing but smiles on the first page. So I put story of today, and I do still have to journal, but that's the only thing left to do on this page. And I did follow, you know, the die cuts and altering them and putting the hearts on there that they are here. It's hard to see, but there's 1 here and 2 here. So I did follow that also very closely. I think the only thing I did make this section a little bit smaller because my photograph was a little smaller and I wanted them to match up. So I made these a little bigger. So that's the other reason for not cutting everything in advance. When I did my first kit and cut everything in advance, I found out that some of the papers were meant to be mats for my photos and the photos were a different size. So that's the other reason that I wait then to do it. So like this is a smaller mat, and so I did have to alter the sizes of these because these were bigger, I believe is what I had to do. So these are narrower, and it worked out. I just measured in between and it was all fine. So once I knew what sizes my mats were and I laid them out, then I measured the spaces in between and then cut this, because this is, it looks like it's one piece. It's not, it's just 4 small pieces, and that's the same thing here. So these are just bigger and a little bit wider. You can see especially here, and I just cut mine to fit in between the mats that I had. So hopefully that makes sense. So that was page number 2. And then for page number 3, which is layout 2, again, they used 1 photo here. I took a ton of pictures on this trip, so I wanted to include more photos. So this page has 2. This is walking around the Botanic Garden. And I did move the die cut that's used for the journaling here, and I moved the flower. Hopefully you can see it's up here, and I moved it down here because I like that better. I felt like it was too crowded to put it over here because I used that picture. But everything else, you know, the details and the little die cuts, I moved the dream down, but same idea. And then this was all the same from what they had here, except maybe moved a little bit closer, and I moved mine a little farther away. But regardless, you know, it's very similar. It follows it pretty closely. So that was the 3rd page. And then the facing page to that one, let me pull it up here. So this was more walking around the Botanic Garden. So this one looks a lot different because I had 1 more picture, but also they were larger than what could fit here. Oh no, sorry, this is 4 pictures and I used 3, but they were larger. So I did alter this part, this page, the most of the 4 that I've shown you so far, but this side is all the same. And I moved this just over because I didn't want it to be on the picture, on the photograph, and I overlapped the things to remember. But basically all of the elements that are there are here, and the mat is here. I just used it differently. So that was that page. And then for the next one, they used 3 photos, a larger one and 2 smaller ones. And I used 5 on mine, but the largest one on the left side. So again, very similar, same elements here and here. And I didn't want to use the you and me because it didn't fit with the picture. So I put my happy place instead, because this was in the butterfly garden, as you can see. And so it definitely was a happy place for me. So I just changed up the title. So I do still have that you and me left. It is the only die cut that I have left that I didn't use. So this one was, I believe, extra, but you will see. So this was, yeah, it wasn't used on that page. So that one was extra. So it is nice that they give you the option. They gave an extra one that worked well for me, so I swapped it out for what was there originally. And then this one, I loved this photo that I took. I felt like it was the best one that I had taken just with my phone. And so I did want to use this as the focal and just having that picture. And I think this may be toward the beginning. You know, I may use this 2-page layout first in my album. So taking this and using them this way instead of this way. So again, you know, you can change that up however you would like. So I'll probably use these first because I do like that as the focal. But you can see the layout is exactly the same. And this one I did journal on. And then the elements here, I believe I did everything exactly as it was on this page. And so then I found out that I had extra supplies, extra designer series paper, and a lot of extra embellishments, especially the die cuts that came. And so I will show you, I created 4 more pages like I said earlier. So these were the first 2. And I'm not sure if this is going to fit on the screen, but I'll show them separately too. So I had, this piece was twice as wide, so I cut it in half. I used half here and half here. And then I had little scraps of this that were 12 inches long, so that was perfect, one for each page. And I had this section that's 12 inches, so that was great for that page. For this one, you can't tell because the photo's covering it, but I have 2 pieces that one was this width and this one was a little wider, and I cut it down to make them the same. And so nobody's the wiser because I put the photo there. And like I said, I had some die cuts left, so I used some here. And I will add some journaling in the more blank spaces. I just haven't had a chance to do that because I wanted to get the video done. But I really was happy with both of those, the way they, you know, coordinate with each other and kind of show off the flowers and being able to use the die cuts. So those were pages 7 and 8 for me. And then last but not least, I did another 2-page layout, and this one's not complete either. And I wanted to show you some elements, and one of them is here. So I'm going to show you how I did them, but these were the 2. So here I did not have much left at all, and this strip was only 11.5 inches, not 12. Otherwise I would have put them side by side, but I put it down here instead. And then obviously I had a bigger section of paper here, but this one is this. And then there's just this that this one that's shown in both places. So this is not adhered yet. This one is, and these are, and this one's not either. So I want to show you how to alter them. So I'm going to pull the pages out and I will show you how I did that, because this is what they recommend with the kit and it's super easy. So I just thought I would show it really quickly. So you do need a scrap. So I've got a scrap here that I'm going to use, and I could use it right on my glass mat, but I don't want to take the time to clean up. So I'm going to do it this way. And you need a blending brush, and I have one dedicated to each color. Like this is the one for browns, and so this is what I used. And then the Pecan Pie ink that they recommend in the booklet. So, and what they tell you to do is typically the way you use your blending brushes, fill it up with some ink, and then we're going to just move in circular motions. You have to be a little bit careful because some of the sections are narrow and it could potentially kind of break off. So I would be a little bit careful, and you lay as much or as little color on as you would like. So I'm going to show you, I did some that were this way, that were just a little bit of color and not a whole lot. And I'm going to show you the contrast by doing the other one. But I probably will add color to this in a minute. But that's, you know, kind of one layer of color. And again, as much or as little as you want. I don't mind having different variations in color. I think that makes it look better. And then for this though, what they wanted you to do, and which I did in some of those other pages that I showed you, was color just the flowers in the pecan pie and leave the rest natural. Well, it's very hard to do it. This is the large blending brush, but even with the small one, it would be difficult. So I got a Q-tip and put ink on it and basically colored it like this. And that's what I did. I found that that was easier You still can lay down as much ink or as little as you'd like, but it's going to be darker regardless, just because even with a little bit of ink, it's darker than using the blending brush. And so you can see the difference, how much darker that is, but it's as easy as that. And then I am going to add a little more color because I want them to be a little bit closer. So I'm just going to lay down some more color, and I even not going in circular motions, sometimes it was easier to kind of do that a little bit because again, they're a little bit fragile and I did not want to risk tearing them. So in the middle, you could do that a little bit more with the circular motions. But if you see it moving and you can put your finger down to hold it, great. And if not, I would just use the brush in a different way. And we'll do this. So I'm adding another layer of color to make it a little darker and more like the one that I did here. And I don't mind that it's not quite as dark, but I wanted it darker than I had it originally. And so I think I'm going to be happy with that. Make sure you get the edges, and that's it. And then I will adhere them to my layout. So I will take them off here and get that scrap out of the way. And what I did then was just put some glue. I mostly use my multi-purpose liquid glue because some of the pieces are small. For this one, you could use glue dots. You could maybe even use your seal, although it would be, you would probably have stray glue on the edges. So I am using my multi-purpose liquid glue for this and just trying to really put some on every leaf so that they all stay in place. And the nice thing with the glue is you don't need that much, of course. And I didn't even bother doing the stems on most of them. I did on some. And I want to put this one right here. And we're going to press that and help the glue to adhere a little bit. And so then that page is done. And again, if I want to, I can put a little section here that I can use for journaling. Just making sure I don't have any ink because I definitely don't want stray ink on here now that I'm to the end. And then the same thing with this, grab my glue again. On the flowers, and here more on the middle to keep that stem in place. And then I decided to put this one more in the corner. Move that up so you can see. And again, just give it a little press so that the glue adheres. And I will probably put even a title on this page, but like I said, I just haven't done that part yet. I wanted to at least get the pictures down and the die cuts. Like I said, I have a bunch of die cuts left, but I also have more pictures. So what I did was order the paper pack. There's you can get the paper pack and the stickers. So the DSP pack and the stickers come in one. I ordered that so I can complete even more pages because yes, I took a ton of photos. I have a bunch of my husband actually reaching out a couple of times and getting different butterflies on his finger, and then he put one on his head, on his hat. So, you know, I didn't want to use them for these because again, just to sort of respect his privacy a little bit, but those will definitely go into the book. And so that way I will have paper that matches, and I will have some more stickers. The die cuts don't come with those, but like I said, I have a ton left, so I know I will be able to make it look seamless all the way through. And so when I do get the paper, I may even use a section of this here as a journaling block and maybe just draw some lines or something like that. So yeah, I was really happy with this kit. I love the sort of the neutralness of the colors, and you know, they worked with the greens and doing leaves and you know, sort of outdoorsy kinds of things too. So I just feel like this one is a good one that you could use with almost any photos that you have. So I really like it. So yeah, that's about it. I love these kits. I've made several of them. I worked on also another one that I'll be using for another video. So stay tuned for that in the next few weeks or so. I may concentrate a little bit more on scrapbooking workshop kits in May, since May is National Scrapbook Day is in May. So look for those. Like I said, check out the rest of my videos on my YouTube channel while you're here. I have other scrapbook pages that I've done even in the past, even from before we had these wonderful scrapbooking workshop kits. And there are lots of them, new ones in the new catalog. So I'm really excited to get my hands on those too. And like I said, other scrapbook pages I have on my channel, lots of cards, tips and techniques, beginner videos. I do paper pumpkin alternatives every month, home decor items. So lots there, hopefully that you find useful. Please subscribe to my channel, click on the bell, and you'll be notified when I post a new video. I've been doing them a lot more frequently, usually about one a week. So definitely come back and check those out as well. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of the kit. And if you've made the kit and you want to post your pictures in the comments, please feel free to do so. I would love to see them. And I will see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Happy stamping.